Hello Bluebell. Okay guys, so these are the ingredients you're going to need to make the Mountain Dew the Mountain Dew Carp Bait. That's going to be the base flavour. Now remember, we're not trying to make it exactly like this. We need it to be good for carp food. So we're making a glug for some pop-ups. So we're going to have got a little portion of white pop-ups there for that flavour to go with that as well. So what we need: brown sugar. God, that dog's loud. Some brown sugar, demerara sugar, some coconut milk. And that'll create a nice cloud in the water as well, so that's always good. Salt, that brings out the flavour more out of the Mountain Dew. Some garlic and pepperami. And there's a reason for that. So let's get on and make Mountain Dew Carp Bait. Okay guys, so we're going to make some Mountain Dew Carp Bait. Now I couldn't find any Mountain Dew with full fat, so this is no added sugar, so this is all about flavour. So we need to introduce those sugars. So I've got brown sugar, which is great because I think the brown sugar, when it gets heated up to a certain temperature, it gets a bit thicker, so we'll have a better syrup and we'll make it a bit more thicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in about just over half of this into some, I've got some water in there, not much, about half. I can always add more later on. Yeah, that's about half. And stir that through and bring that to the boil. We need that to dilute as much as possible, like that. So that's good. That's doing that. And whilst that's diluting, I'm going to open my Mountain Dew. I've got mini bottles, and there's a reason for that. One, for thumbnail. Two, because I want labels to do the boilie pot and to do the glug pot. You could just use the bottles if you wanted to. And this is a bit of fun, guys. So it's been a while. I'm just going to taste it. Okay, so it's got like a lime flavour to it, so that's interesting. That's something that I can work with. But that's just starting to boil on the sides there. Well, you can hear it. Turn the temperature down just a tad. I might add that in. That's good. Right. That's good. And bring that to temperature. I am actually going to add a bit more sugar. Seems like a lot, but it needs to be PVA friendly. So that's good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sea salt. So the next thing to do is add sea salt. Now, I've got sea salt conveniently, but I need a spoon, 1 second. I've got it in a nice glass container, Victorian glass container. So I'm going to add one. Look at that, I love that fizz. 2. Don't forget, carp loves salt. I love looking for salt, and it's a good product to help and aid with the PVA. There we go. So we've got 3 or 4 spoonfuls of that. Bring that to the thing. It's gone like a bit of a brown colour, which is fine. It's not a problem. Right, now at this point what I want to do is I've got that pepperami. So I've taken that out of there. Take it out of the skin. I'm going to break that put that in. Now carp love pepperami. If you've seen any of my videos, I have used pepperami to catch fish. And I'm just putting that in like that. And as that comes to the boil, all that flavour is going to release because look, the oil. See that? See how my fingers have got oil on it? Again, oil, a little bit good for the PVA. Make it PVA friendly. That goes in. Next, I'm going to add some garlic. I'm going to add a whole teaspoon of garlic. Now, believe it or not, I know through past experience of working with these soft drinks, is that the flavour of the soft drink will come through in the end. Even though there's all these other flavours, that lime flavour will still come through everything that we put through into that. Now, next, coconut milk. Now, this is great stuff. I love this stuff in carp food. A lot of the big manufacturers use like creamers and whiteners, whiteners as well. That can go in. Oh, I can't open it. Hold on. 1 second. There we go. Oh, as he spills it everywhere. So the whole tin goes in. Then we're gonna boil it up. Lovely. Okay. Whilst that's happening, I'll just clean this down. With a cloth. Get that up. Careful I don't burn the house down. So all that flavour is infusing together. Awesome. Right, now what I want to do is I want to add some of this whitener as well. I can actually put it in the main ingredients list, but I don't know. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut and go with it. So it's just basically powdered milk. So I'm going to put some of that in. Like that. I'm going to bring that to the boil. I'm going to add a little bit more sugar. Just have fun with it, guys. That's all you've got to do. Fun, fun, fun. It's a funny colour. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a plate, bowl. So just put my whisk in. We've got to reduce that down quite far. And what we can do, whilst that's doing that, is we can get this empty bottle of Mountain Dew. Actually, do you know what? I wonder, will that fit? No. But I'm going to keep this bottle with this label on because I like the fact it's green, and unfortunately this bottle isn't green. I like to keep the colours the same if I can, but there's not much I can do. See how that's frothing up? The milk's boiling up. It's getting nice and thick. It's actually becoming nice and thick. I like that. I do like that. So I'm going to turn the temperature down because I don't want it to boil up and over. Got the sausage stuck in there. Right, let's get that to going. Now this is all food friendly, so I'm going to taste a little bit of this. Oh wow, that's a very interesting flavour. You've got the garlic, and you've got like this lime background from the Mountain Dew, because that's predominantly lime. So it's a little bit like a Thai green curry, which is interesting. If we think about flavour and how that works, you've got the sweetness, you've got the salt, and that's all countering quite nicely actually. So, just think about that a little bit. Just getting rid of the rubbish. What I'm going to do see if I've got any. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I've actually got. Right, so I've actually got some lazy chilli. Very lazy chilli, but look, it's boiling up. Careful with that. Don't want that boiling over. Thanks for letting me know, guys. That's still boiling. Let's take that off the heat, and it's boiling over. Okay, so what happened was it started to boil up. So I had to sort that out and take off the scum and then bring it back. So I've taken a lot of the foam off. So it foamed up because of the milk. So anyway, moving swiftly on, I found this lazy chili, which I thought was really, really good. So it's quite old now. It's been sat in the cupboard for a little while, but we can add a couple of tablespoons there and really give that a kick. In fact, I'm going to go for 3. We all know chili, garlic and all that. It's still Mountain Dew. Remember, I can't stress this enough, the main flavour in Mountain Dew is lime. Now, I could have said that. Could have just used lime. But basically, we've got like a Thai red curry. That's quite spicy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fish out those sausages, the pepperoni, stay in there. 2 pieces. Oh, there's more. Yep. Any more than that? No. That's it. So we still want to reduce this down as much as we can. I'm just trying to think of a way of making it more green. I haven't got any food colour, which is annoying. But we've got to let that reduce by at least half. So I'll bring you guys back in a minute. Right, guys, in the garden, if my camera decides to stay still. In the garden, I grow this, which is not mint. It's a herb called lemon balm, and it's good for teas and calming teas and things like that. So what I'm going to do, because it's lemon balm, it's got that lemony flavour as well. So the lemon, lime for the Mountain Dew, and in the vain hope that this turns that more green. Rip that up and throw that in. Going in. You could use mint, you could use sage. I know of some carp goos that are sage. Basil. Basil's a good one. Basically, if it's food safe, put it in. George's Marvellous Medicine. So that's going to be about, hopefully. Honestly, at this point, it's more of a... There's another sausage in. it's more of a red curry than it is anything else. Hopefully, we'll bring that to the boil and that'll turn more green, or it might even turn it more brown. Either way, it's going to be a fantastic PVA friendly carp bait. Right, let's continue with this, guys. So we've got a nice rolling boil. That'll be the high sugar content, and this is crisp enough. So all that flavour's in there. It's not really turned it green. I was hoping, but it has turned it like a murky brown green, which ain't bad. Let's take it a little bit further than that. But then what we've got to do is filter everything off, so we separate all the solids from the liquids into a colander and a sieve, cool the liquid down and see what we end up with. Because guys, this is a complete and utter experiment. I've never made this before. My Coca-Cola one that I never made before, that caught me that big carp, and then the other, the Fanta one, that caught me a big carp as well. So we'll see. It's all a question of just holding on and seeing what we can do. Right, let's boil this down a little bit further, and then we'll separate it. So here's another experiment. Sometimes I put the liquid, the goo that I make from there, put that straight into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit, about 3 teaspoons worth, maybe 2.5 teaspoons worth of that in there, in the pop-ups. Take on that flavour. I'm going to let that sit for a bit. It's all experiments, guys. It's all experiments. Just going to let that sit for a bit. See how, look how good the boilies are. Again, like a milky consistency. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to take that out of there now. So I don't really want that to dissolve the boilies in any way. So I'm just going to pour that into the liquid here. So we've just got that Mountain Dew, a little bit of Mountain Dew left over on top of that boilie there. Oh, that smells so good. It smells really sweet, even though it's sugar-free. But there's sweeteners in that, isn't there? So that's good. That is good. Okay. We are getting such a lovely consistency here. I'm loving that. That is about perfect. So I'm going to do a difficult bit and get this separated into another pan, and we'll cool it down. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm going to use my oven mitt so I don't burn my hands doing this. I'm going to separate this liquid into there. So we've still got a bit of that sausage. Squeeze that out. We don't want to disturb it too much because we don't want any have too many bits and pieces going in there. That's good. I'll switch that one to the other pan, and we'll get that back on the heat. We'll get this back on the heat and reduce it a bit further. Now it hasn't got any of those other bits in it. I can see what's happening with it. Okay, so that's back on the boil. Now what I want to do is, that's very angry at the minute. Just want to see how this coats the spoon. And see, it's very watery still, so we've got to bring that quite far down because we want it nice and thick. Yeah. We'll blow that. The flavour is wonderful. It's like, it's umami, if that makes sense. So you've got the sweet, the sour, the heat, all them flavours sort of mixed together. You've got that lemon, and you can taste that lime. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting carp bait with the main key flavour was the Mountain Dew. Remember, we had to add a lot more sugar back into it because this is no sugar. See, all new no sugar. Who wants that? Ugh, sugar's life. But yeah, let's reduce that further, and I'll bring you back again. Okay, whilst that's doing that, if you remember, we added some of the Mountain Dew to the boilies, just a light coating. But this syrup, I'm going to take 1 teaspoon whilst it's still watery and hot, just 1 teaspoon, and I'm putting that in. And that is more than enough to flavour these boilies and match what we're doing. Right. Cool. Nice glugged boilie, ready for the bank. That's perfect. Section 1 done. I hope you're enjoying this, guys. This is just trial and error. You know, you just got to try and do the best you can, and make some stuff. You know, save some money, make some stuff, and have a bit of fun. And if it catches your carp, then it's even better, isn't it? Okay, guys. So whilst I'm waiting for that to still boil down, it's doing really well. Is I've used some of the labels off the boilies to make my Mountain Dew boilies. I'll get it right in a minute. Off the bottles of Mountain Dew. So I've taken the labels off of these, and I've cut for my Thai infused Mountain Dew pop-ups and my sauce. So there we go. So now, if I turn this off, I think we need to look at how well this is off the spoon. So we don't want it watery at all. No, still got a long way to go. This has got to be reduced by at least another quarter. You want it a thick syrup. Okay guys, so we've got it nice and thick. Look at that. Get a spoon. I'll try and show you how nice and thick this is. That is beautiful syrup. Thick, loads of flavour. Smells amazing. Smells very Thai fused. So I'm going to put it in this bowl of water here, and then I'm going to add some freezer blocks. Just these freezer blocks. You can hear that crackle. And then that'll bring that temperature down, and that'll thicken up as that cools down. And that'll be ready to bottle up. Right guys, so this has cooled down beautifully, and it has got really nice. Look at the shine. Look how thick and shiny that is. So we're going to pour that into our bottle, making sure we don't overspill. There we go. Any left over, I'll put into this one. Pour. Oh, Mountain Dew Carp Bait. Well, this is great. We're going to add this to all that salt still. Look, salt going in there. That's fine. Let's put the lid on that. That's all good. Put that over there. That looks good in the green bottle. It's a shame these sauce bottles don't come in different colours, but there you go, never mind. So, Mountain Dew. So that, all in all, can we make a nice carp bait out of Mountain Dew? Yes, we can do. We had to adapt the flavours. You can't just use this on its own. I can't stress that enough, guys. You cannot use that on its own. You've got to take the carbonation out of it, otherwise it won't work. Adding sugars and salts and milks and chilies and garlics and all that other kind of stuff, all that good stuff. We all know carp like. So that, once that thickens up even more, we'll give that a good shake, and on the next video when I'm actually fishing, we'll try and catch some carp on Mountain Dew. Get in.